everybody! We're back to recommend more suggestions for books that you can get with your Carmel Clay Public Library card. I'm Katherine, and I'm joined today by Carly, Kendall, and Jane, and we have some fantastic suggestions for recent releases that you may be interested in. Carly, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Thanks, Katherine. My pick for recent releases is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. And when I first began reading this book, I put it aside. I could tell how really special and unusual it was, and I wanted to give it my full attention. So when I picked it back up later, I was just completely captivated by this story. This is one of those books where I hesitate to say too much because I want readers to go in completely blind and also be as blindsided by this book as I was. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story, but not too much to try and lure you into reading it. Because I think the fantasy elements are a little sticky and maybe readers might be turned off by them. So I'll just tell you a bit, but I think if you give it a try, you'll be immersed and really rewarded. So Piranesi is the title of the book, but it's also the name of the main character. Piranesi lives in a world of endless corridors, chambers, and staircases. He tracks the tides which flood the chambers, and his memories kind of deceive him. He has known only one other in sight of this world, a controlling mentor who he periodically meets to be counseled. But recently, his travels through the chambers have led to the discovery of an other. Piranesi is bewildered. He's puzzled, trying to figure out who this other is and what they're trying to communicate to him. So one by one, his careful observations lead him to a discovery which will shatter his world and also break the hearts of readers. I can't say any more without spoiling it entirely. I only hope that others will give this a try, give it a few chapters to develop. I think it will really enchant you. And it's one of those books that's best swallowed in a couple of days, maybe a weekend. It's quite short, but it's captivating, it's unusual, it's unexpectedly different than the author's other book, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. And it's an odd blend of fantasy, mystery, and myth. Great for readers of Neil Gaiman, one of my favorite books this year. Kendall, what are you reading?
Thanks, Carly. I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B.E. Schwab. Addie LaRue, a young woman living in 1714 France, who simply wants to change her fate, makes a desperate deal with a dark god. Suddenly, nobody knows who she is, and when she meets people, they forget she existed at all the moment they turn away from her. Her pen strokes disappear, the things she breaks mend themselves whole again, collected possessions disappear overnight. Addie can leave no mark on this world for however long she chooses to live. So for 300 years, Addie adventures across the world, soaking in every experience she can, while seemingly invisible to everyone around her. But then one day, she revisits a young man's bookstore she had once browsed before, and he remembers her. This is a haunting and beautiful story about what it means to live and love fully, and what sacrifices we're willing to make to do so. It's a cautionary tale that reminds us to be careful of what we wish for, but it's also a lesson about how to seize opportunities and make the best of a life that didn't turn out the way we thought it would. Schwab's melodic writing and irresistible characters are sure to take you on an unexpected adventure, which many of us could use these days. Readers who enjoyed The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern or The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden might also appreciate this sweeping historical fantasy. So check out The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab in print and audio CD, as well as digitally in ebook and audiobook on Libby. What new book did you read, Jane?
Thanks, Kendall. My book is a fantasy of a different kind. I read Rodham by Curtis Sittenfeld, which reimagines the life of Hillary Clinton had she not married Bill. So the beginning of the book, it follows her true life, but then when she gets to the decision about whether or not to marry Bill, it goes off track, and she decides not to marry him. And so then we see what could have happened had she not married him, and it's a fun, sometimes a little scary, or challenging book, but it's a nice read, and it because the media has fictionalized her so much, it was kind of comforting to read a true fiction book about her, and seeing how many lives could have been changed had she not married Bill. If you like political novels or like Hillary Clinton, I think you would really enjoy this book. It's available as an ebook, in print, and a downloadable audiobook. What are you reading, Katherine?
Thank you all so much for those recommendations. Those are all fantastic reads. I just finished Stuart Turton's The Devil and the Dark Water. And this historical thriller was just released a few days ago, and it comes to us from the author of the best-selling murder mystery, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So if you liked that and you were wondering what he would do next, you're definitely going to want to check this one out. It's set almost 400 years ago in the early 1600s and stars Samuel Pepys, and he's the world's greatest detective, and he's being transported to Amsterdam. Not for fun, he's being executed for a crime that he may or may not have committed. Along with his loyal bodyguard, who is determined to prove that he is innocent, strange things begin to happen aboard the high seas. There's, of course, murder, and strange symbols start to appear, and rumors of a demon that may or may not exist. This is great for fans of Stephen King, especially this time of year as we get closer to Halloween, or if you're just a fan of supernatural horror or paranormal mysteries, you'll definitely want to check out The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton, which is available now as an ebook in our Overdrive digital collection and in Hoopla. Thank you again to Carly, Kendall, and Jane for their recently released recommendations. We wish you all happy reading, and we'll see you again soon. Bye!